It's a very good evening. It's Monday evening. It's 8:30. What better could you want than me, Andy, and Brooksy on your TVs, on your laptops, on your iPhones, celebrating? Firstly, the parrot is back. He's on top of the perch. Look at him. Top of
The
the
what's
perch
back?
he is. And he's not the only person who's top of the perch. There's a football club top of the perch as well, and it ain't Liverpool FC for once. Arsenal are top of the league going into the international break. We'll look into that. We'll look into loads more, and we'll discuss all things Arsenal. But firstly, as always, the biggest importance is welcoming my two superb co-hosts. So a very good evening to Andy. How you doing, mate?
Evening, chaps. Yes, I'm really good, thank you. Yeah, it's all steady in the northeast, and I'm just getting used to these dizzy heights of being on the top perch, looking down on everybody. Well, it's nice.
It's a very nice place to be, isn't it?
Absolutely, it's where we should be as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And Mr. Johnny Brooks, how you doing, mate? It's been a busy day for you at work.
Yeah, started at 4 this morning and finished about 6:30. But yeah, I'm all right. Yeah, I've had a good day. I've got a real knob at work. There's a West Ham fan, so that was nice this morning. Went in a little Arsenal hoodie, and he didn't say anything. Yeah, I've had a good day. Yeah, it's as Andy said, it's just nice to be where we belong. And long may it continue.
Absolutely, and you might notice it's got a bit of an upgrade in the bar as well. I've finally bought one of those ring lights, so you get to see the better HD version of myself, a more lit up El Smugger.
Beautiful.
Oh my God!
I don't know
what
if that's
a treat
good
for
or bad.
everybody.
You look even uglier.
Never came to be good looking, mate. Never. We're going to do some good evenings first. Good evening to Margaret. Good to see you in, as always.
Evening.
Good evening to Mr. Ryan Podcast himself. Good evening, mate. Good evening to Mr. Griffin. Pete G, how you doing? Sarah's in the house. Good evening, Sarah. Hope you enjoyed the game on Saturday. Sitting in an old smuggy seat. And good evening to Jeanette as well. Good to see you on. Let's get cracking. Let's get discussing. Obviously, Saturday, 3 p.m. West Ham will come into town, which, to be honest with you, Andy, has turned into a bit of a bogey game over the last couple of years. 2 defeats on a spin at home, which is even more shockingly when you think that we've banged 12 for 12 against them away from home.
Yeah, absolutely. It's sometimes through different seasons you get little teams like that just become your bogey side for whatever reason. They're just you can't get past them. But no, I think it was a comfortable afternoon out, really, wasn't it? Without it being spectacular, we just got the job done and didn't really come out with cruise control, I don't think, at any point.
Yeah, no, definitely. And John, you going into the game yourself, was you confident we could pick up the 3 points?
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. Only because of what happened. The last 2 home games, we've obviously lost 1-0 to them. And last year we were missing so many players. We were going for that spill where we just couldn't score a goal for love and the money. But obviously, we were confident this time round that, the way the squad is and the way we're playing, I'm not going to lie, I was quite confident we're going to smash them. Obviously, West Ham, new manager, come out of a decent result at Everton Monday night, and by all accounts, second half they played really well. But as it turned out, that was a false dawn, and it was a very comfortable.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll go and look into the team. Go back to you, Andy, first. Obviously, Raya started in goal again. No surprise there. Timber, Calafiori, Saliba and Gabriel. That back four is pretty much locked down, isn't it, at the moment?
Yeah, I think so. I think we said last season, didn't we, even though that Miles Lewis-Skelly came in and done a hell of a job at there, but I think we all kind of felt that when everybody's fully fit and firing, that essentially Calafiori would be the long-term fullback, and the guy's done ever so well, hasn't he? Let's be honest. He can create a bit of chaos both ends of the pitch, and there's certain times that nobody knows what he's about to do. But I think ultimately, I think he's a proper player. You don't play for Italy in defence if no mugs that kind of player there. So he's a quality signing for us. I really, really like him.
Yeah, definitely. And going into midfield, John, Odegaard and Eze got a start. Submini dropped down to the bench with Declan Rice in the sitting role. I know, obviously, that didn't last long again. interestingly, Odegaard's made the record books. He's the first player to come off in 3 consecutive Premier League games before half time. Bit of a blow, that, wasn't it? But was you excited to see that 3 in midfield?
Yeah, I think everyone was probably slightly surprised. Because obviously, well, even though we talked about it, we didn't think it would probably happen so soon. Yeah. Yeah, it was good. We were just worried that they might catch us on the break. Obviously, going a bit gung ho. Against some of the lesser sides, it's probably the way forward. I mean, he definitely won't do that against some of the bigger sides. And yeah, it looked good, but then, I don't know. It's just, it's just a bit too attacking for my liking. It sounds a bit silly, but Rice is very good going forward. He is a defensive midfielder, but he's not, if that makes sense. He's so much better when he's getting forward with the ball. And, well, Zubimendi proved when he come on what a difference he made.
Yeah, just talking about Zubimendi, John, because I know obviously both you and Andy wanted to have a bit of a chat with him, but he's probably gone a bit unknown, isn't he, in terms of his performances, because actually we probably looked at the striker situation more, and then Eze coming in. Zubimendi's taking a little bit of a back seat, isn't he? But his performances are pretty consistent, and considering he's moving into a new league, obviously he's coming into a big club with a lot of expectation. I think Saturday just provided the proof that what a player he is, that he come on after 30 minutes, he settled into the game straight away, and he made an impact. And by making an impact, he's involved in both goals.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It was when I seen the kind of team sheet come out, a bit like what John said there, it did feel really attacking, quite gung ho. But by the same token, in my mind, I'm thinking, how's that balance going to work? And I think it stifled Rice having him and Eze and Odegaard, because they're not going to drop back and sit in there. And he also likes to go forward, as John mentioned. So I think in some respects, as unlucky as it is, I think Odegaard's injury played into our hands a little bit, with Zubimendi coming on and just being able to slot in there effortlessly. And I think the big thing with Zubimendi at the moment is, I mean, talk about a tough start to the season for someone who's never been in the Premier League before. You think of the fixtures he's had to face. It's baptism of fire. And I think he's slowly but surely he's growing into the season a bit. But I think the bit about him which I think makes him extra special is how good he does the basic things. He can he knows when the move needs to continue momentum. He knows when a move needs to just slow down and we'll just take a little breather. He'll take one. It very rarely takes more than 2 touches. Quite often he'll pop it off with one pass football, and it opens up that little tiny bit more space in there. And I think the guy just goes beneath the radar because he's so good at doing the basic things, which is essential to every team. He is an absolute diamond we've got ourselves here. We've got if he got injured this season, I'd be actually quite concerned now. But he is one hell. I mean, his first. He looks like he's kind of first pick for Spain as well. So I mean, if you're doing that and you're playing for Spain every single match, you know you've got a special talent. And we're really fortunate to get him. We really are.
I'll tell you a quite interesting thing. I think we forget about Norgard, don't we? He's currently situated on the bench, left a team that he's pretty much planning all the time. He's going to find it hard to get any minutes, isn't he, John? If we're being frankly honest.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I presume when he, got the offer and he spoke to him, and obviously he must have not. Well, I think Zubimendi was more or less signed before we got him, so he must have known. But obviously, with Jorginho leaving, he will get some game time. I mean, in some of the Carabao, I presume in the Carabao at home, example against Brighton, I presume we'll games. I presume he'll play. But he was always, he was never going to say no, was he? It's a step up, and he can see where we're going, and who wouldn't want to be a part of that? I mean, yeah, he'll get minutes, but he's getting to what is he, 31? So he probably knows his limitation. He can see how good the players are around him, and he'll get involved. I mean, Arteta's been very good this year. They've given a lot of people minutes. His substitutions have got better, so he'll definitely get game time. It's just a question of how much.
Interesting that he brought up Andy about obviously the rotation and obviously the substitutions as well. And we have got a bench now where Arteta can kind of pick and choose from. But when we look at the front three again on Saturday, obviously Saka, obviously he's a must when fit. Gyökeres leading the line once again. But Trossard, that's his third game on the spin that he's played. What do you think Arteta's thinking is behind the trust in Trossard at present?
In fairness, I actually don't know. Because I genuinely don't, because I think I said it last week as well, but for me, we've got two players that are absolutely outstanding when they come on as impact players, and that's him and Martinelli. The problem with the pair of them two is that when they start games, it's not all that we don't always get a performance out of them. Arteta out could just come on the screen there.
Yeah, who's that?
I think it's tongue in cheek.
Yeah, okay.
But no, it is a funny one, and I'm not sure where we go with that one.
Well, I'm in the camp here, right? And tell me if I'm right or wrong here, but I can very much see if Jesus gets back fit and firing, that he could potentially get some minutes from outside that left wing, because I was thinking about this the other day, and I was thinking what Trossard would offer out on the left or what Jesus would offer out on the left. For me, is chalk and cheese. Yeah. And I think if they could get him back fit and firing, I think he could be a good option out there.
Yeah, you might well be right as well, because if he can sort himself out, if we can get him back and get that knee sorted, yeah, he could be one of these ones that kind of come in and he's almost like a new £50 million signing if we can get him going. But it all depends on how that knee heals. I mean, he's done it twice now.
How far off is he?
I'm not altogether sure, to be honest.
Is he back in training?
I'm not sure.
I see a picture of him. I'm sure I see a picture of him on the training pitch, something, and he puts an arm and knee or so. So I presume he's back with the team, but yeah, I don't know how.
Yeah, and I think going back to the Trossard thing as well, is for me, I love it when we have pace in the side, like real pace. You know, if you've got Saka going down one side, and if you've got either Martinelli or Madueke, for instance, they've just got that kind of electric pace, which is just that little something that can just make the difference between two closely matched teams. Don't get me wrong, Trossard is a really good player, but I just find that sometimes physically he struggles, and he can often, I don't know about you guys think, but he can often slow moves down just when the ball can be zipping around, and it'll go to Trossard and he'll take like 4 and 5 touches, and you're like, sometimes just get it laid off and go and get the next one. So it sometimes slows down with him for me, but it's only personal opinion. But I really feel as though genuinely I would probably go Martinelli over Trossard.
And do you see like Madueke playing out there, or do you think he's more being brought in to kind of cover for Saka?
I think ultimately there's a bit of both going on there. I think he showed in glimpses in the summer and also the start of the season, Madueke, that when he's on the left as well, he's awesome, and he gives players something to think about, because he's got that electric pace, but he's got great feet. He always seems to get a crossing, or like sliding the ball across the goal. There's always kind of an end product with him, and it's when he loses the ball, it's generally when he's doing something positive. He's such an attacking outlet for us. And I'm dying to see Saka and maybe Madueke going at teams with Eze and Rice bombing on, Zubimendi sat in there. I just think that it could be frightening for a lot of teams when they get these lads back.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because with the Odegaard injury that obviously occurred on Saturday, is this now giving Eze the prime time to have that key number 10 role for the foreseeable future? And do you see him more in that role than out on the left, John?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a no-brainer. I mean, I said it. This is one of the reasons why, signed Eze. It's just covering all the bases. There's something did get injured. I mean, I feel a bit sorry for Waneri, because he probably would have got the go-ahead as well. I mean, he could still get a few more minutes playing there. But yeah, I mean, Eze's not a winger, is he? To be honest, we've got plenty of people that can play in the wing. So yeah, it's a great opportunity for Eze to crack on.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously looking at the the performances over the last week, Andy, of Bukayo Saka. Scored in the last minute against Olympiacos to seal the game. Scored again with a penalty on Saturday to seal the game. He can't keep himself out the assists and goals, can he?
Yeah, he's just, you know what, the kid's just a machine. You know, he's one of those. He's a little bit like Salah when Salah was playing well at Liverpool. That sometimes he can be having an ordinary game, but then he'll just prop up with either an assist or a great finish. He's just got this ability to just be in the right areas at all the right times, and he's just he's a special player, and all being well, touch wood, we can keep him fit, because we do need him. As we go through the season, because as we hopefully progress in all these cups, you think of the amount of games that are going to come our way. So that massive squad that we've now been able to assemble is going to be used massively now. So it'll be really interesting seeing what happens when we go forward, if we can continue moving well through these cups.
Obviously, just being asked, is it true Odegaard's out for months? Well, he's got an MLC. There hasn't really been a timescale put on there yet, has there, John?
No, well, I've heard weeks, I've heard months, so yeah, we're in the hands of the medical gods, really. I mean, we don't know, do we? Fingers crossed for weeks. I mean, someone said he could be back for the Spurs game, which is obviously about a month and a half. So, yeah, obviously we've got 2 international breaks, one this month, one next month. So we hopefully only miss a few games. But yeah, we don't know until they give us a further update. Yeah, everyone's just guessing.
And obviously Charles saying you can't wait till Havertz is back. Kind of another player that's gone under the radar, isn't it? Like he should be back soon, shouldn't he, Andy? And it's just another alternative then, isn't it? And puts a bit more pressure on Gyökeres. Just on the Gyökeres at the moment, what's your kind of thoughts on these first 7 games as such for Arsenal?
Do you know what? Maybe I'm going against the grain here, but I actually think he's done ever so well. Yeah, you know, trying to fit into this team must be difficult, because we're not a team that whizzes balls across boxes and across goal mouths like you see other teams do. But his work rate, I think, goes a little bit unnoticed at times as well. You know, he can drag centre halves all over the place, and physically, he's an absolute beast. And it's interesting when Havertz comes back, because ultimately we all know Havertz is a better footballer. However, physically, if you ask a centre back, who would you rather play against, Havertz or Gyökeres? They'll probably say Havertz, because Gyökeres is a pain in the arse. He just needs he needs a little bit of luck now, just a ball to break in the box. There was one on Saturday when it almost got to him, but it was slightly behind him. And there's been a couple like that. And it's just the way it goes sometimes. The most important thing is his work rate hasn't let up. I'd love to see his stats on distance run in matches, because it is unbelievable. And especially as games drag on, and if you physically are wearing down them centre backs, that's when you're going to start to see his spaces open up. So what he does for the club is massive. For the team, is massive. Just needs them goals to follow.
His performances every game have got better and better and better.
Yeah.
He started off at Man United, he didn't really do a lot because no one was really giving the ball. Went to the Leeds home game, he scored a couple. Newcastle away, I thought he really come of age because he was a real beast.
Yeah.
The Olympiacos game, the way he bulldozed through those defenders, very lucky he hit the post. He did the same thing against Leeds, hit the post. You know, and he does, there's anything, he just works really hard. People go, no, he's not doing this, not doing that. But as the games, the players are getting more and more used to his runs and that. And you know, you look at other players that have spent a lot of money on these so-called big names, Isaac and Bertz, and they've done fuck all. And, you know, that's gone, you know, I can't say nothing about them, but everyone's going to go big picture. He still scored 3 goals. And, he's getting more and more involved. He will score a lot of goals.
He will.
I think the thing for me is, and I think a key thing for me is that actually no striker, in my opinion, has really succeeded under Arteta's reign. And that people might sit there and go, well, obviously Aubameyang did, but Aubameyang turned up in the semi-final cup final for him. Aubameyang's best period was actually under Unai Emery.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he kind of struggled. I thought Lacazette kind of struggled at the end. I think Havertz has probably had the best chances and got himself into the best positions. And I think I like Havertz. I think the work he does is absolutely formidable. He's very good at getting into the positions, but the problem with Havertz is at times is him actually converting the chances. And I think this is the bit where Gyökeres is going to have to kind of work on his game and maybe watch Havertz a bit at times in terms of like how does he muster out these chances, because I think he has struggled to kind of get any kind of creation out of the team, and I don't know whether that's down to him. I don't know whether that's down to the team. Is it a bit of everything? Probably is. I think he works hard, and I'll tell you another thing I think he does do. I think he stretches defences big time, because actually he pulls centre backs out, and I've noticed this already in games that actually centre backs look a lot more uncomfortable against us. And I think if we can work on that and have players like Eze running in behind him, we could kind of create a lot more out of that, couldn't we? But
I think, do you know what, Liam? I think on that you're right as well, because we showed that at Newcastle. Because over the last couple of years we've just been bullied at St James's Park. But when you've got your forward who's actually quite prepared to go toe to toe with whoever tries to come and dish anything out, which Gyökeres does, all of a sudden him doing that pulls the team forward as well, because you're watching him going to war for your team, and it drags everybody else with you. So I'm really happy with Gyökeres, and I really believe he's a streak scorer as well. Once he gets his first goal again now, as the season's gone on, once he gets his next goal, he'll go on a little streak. I'm sure of it. He'll be absolutely fine.
I think the other key thing is trying to keep the same squad together, the same team together now. I know that's not going to happen game in, game out, because look, we got Champions League, we got League Cup coming up, so there's a lot of games thick and fast, and he's going to have to rotate it. But I do agree like you. I think if he can he needs to score in a few games, like you said, a streak, don't he, and get some confidence. I don't agree that people say that he should have took the penalty Saturday. I don't agree with that whatsoever. I don't know where this narrative's come out that actually he's the penalty kick taker. Has Mikel Arteta come out and said he's the penalty kick taker? Because I haven't heard it come out of Mikel Arteta's mouth. As far as I was concerned, at the back end of last year, Saka was our designated penalty kick taker. So unless something's drastically changed, I agree that Saka should have took the penalty. And actually, I don't believe Gyökeres needs to score a penalty at the moment. He knows he can do that. What he needs is open play goals. He needs to be able to score his own goals as such. Like penalties, I don't think is going to be the answer for him. But I thought it was interesting as well, John. Like Mikel Arteta said at the end of the game, like I think he can understand a little bit. He's putting in the work rate, but not really getting no success out of it. He pulled him in after the game and obviously said, "Thank you for the work you've done over the last 3 games," because he's literally got 0 reward out of it, hasn't he?
Yeah, no, I see it, and all he can do is just keep going. You know, he keeps doing what he's doing. He's going to score goals, to be honest, in this team. He will get chances. You know, we just got to put the ball in the box a little bit more for him. But yeah, it's going to fall sooner rather than later. You know, it's not as if he's hiding or not performing. We can all see it, and it's good that Arteta's, you know, just give him a little. But at the end of the day, we're still winning. You know, there isn't a problem. Obviously, if we weren't winning, the people would be moaning. But everyone else is chipping in goals. People are doing what they're doing. So it's fine.
And just go on to Bukayo Saka again, Andy. 200 appearances now? 100 goal contributions in that time. That's pretty formidable, isn't it?
It's amazing.
For a player that's only 24 years old.
It's incredible. Honestly, it's absolutely incredible. We have such a talent there. We just need to covet him, wrap him in cotton wool. You know, hopefully we can use him. Maybe he's on a rotational basis this year, so we're not overplaying him. The hamstring injuries, I think, that kind of does worry me. Pardon?
England will, though.
Yeah, and well, you'll see Saka and Rice will play 90 minutes, both games. Yeah. But with it being the hamstring injury, he's going to have to be ever so careful going forwards, because, you know, Arteta alluded to something with Gabriel saying that, you know, in a certain situation, he had to go put that extra percent in for a sprint, which is what essentially Saka needs to do. The problem with your hamstring going is it can often go again and again, you know. So when it went before, he had them couple of games out, you start to worry. So I'm just hoping that they can kind of, you know, he's in the best hands. The medical team must. We're talking about it on the podcast, so bet your bottom dollar that's first and foremost in the medical staff's mind. So got to keep him fit. And he's also, he's also a phenomenal ambassador for our club. He speaks so well. He's so eloquent, very grounded, and I just think that he kind of encapsulates what Arsenal are about. And he's got that bit of class about him, and to post scores and figures like that, what he's done is just unbelievable for a young kid that's come through Hale End.
Yeah, he just gets better and better for me. Like, I know he's obviously not at his top performance already, but if you look over the last 3 to 4 years, his performances improve every year. His conversion rate improves every year. His goal contributions improve every year. And when you think about where he was at last year when he pulled that hamstring at Selhurst Park, was pretty incredible. And I think he would have been up to play a year if he hadn't got injured. I guess my biggest problem, like you, Andy, is that actually I do have this fear in the back of my mind that at some point, is it going to go again? Do you know what I mean? We get into November, December time, the weather gets colder. I think Arteta is looking at potentially Martinelli to be like the second midfielder on the right at the moment, because obviously Maduaki's injured. Don't think he really wants to throw Dowman in. I think he'll get his opportunities here and there. If games are wrapped up, he'll get his opportunities, but he's going to have to use Martinelli on that right-hand side, isn't he? And share the workload out. Yeah,
without doubt. And, don't get me wrong, but when I see Martinelli on our right-hand side, especially if he's starting a match, it doesn't fill me with excitement. But ultimately, it's a needs-must situation. Yes, the squad is phenomenal at the moment, but when you bring Madueke in, who's going to be there for just in case Saka can't get through the season, then all of a sudden you lose Madueke. Then it becomes an issue when potentially Saka gets an injury, so the Martinellis have to end up going on the right and changing the systems around a little bit. But don't get me wrong, I mean, God's truth, he's me whinging because Martinelli might have to play on the right. It's not a bad situation for us to be in, is it?
It's interesting, isn't it? Like it's always the same key positions, isn't it, really, when you start looking at it? It's either the number 10 role, the number 9 role, or the number 7 role, which is where we're finding the biggest of injuries. But with that, it's really incredible the strength and depth that he has got now, that actually you look at it and you think, well, he's at least got 5 people that can play on the right, if you include one area who played out there last year. So it's not like he's short of problems, but at the same time, I guess that he didn't really want to overload Saka with games. Now, I would have thought potentially maybe he might have looked to at least played Madueke in the Champions League game against Olympiacos to kind of share that workload out.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's essentially why he's been brought in. This season's a massive season for Arteta, and we all know that we have to win a trophy as a minimum. But having that squad that he's got now, there's literally we've been praying for an opportunity to be where we are now, where we can look to our bench and there's actually a bit of excitement because we know we can fetch something on that's going to certainly not make us a weaker side, but make us sometimes an even more exciting team. So that the strength in depth is huge now. It's now about how we proportions that when we're kind of going if we can start getting a run together in the League Cup, and then the FA Cup starts coming up and kind of towards the winter time, and he has to go for all of these competitions. He can't take any one of these competitions lightly anymore, and that's where this squad I think is going to come in. And there's no reason at all for me, and it could be rose tinted glasses, but there's no reason why we can't be looking at, well, certainly a trophy, but a minimum 2 trophies this year. Whether that be the League, Champions League, the League Cup, FA Cup. That squad that we have now is capable of taking us, if we can keep players, our real key players fit, taking us right to the very end, and literally we could get to a point where we could potentially have one of the most exciting seasons ever. Well, for a long time anyway.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, and I think just going on Tubrooksy on that, there are trophies up for grabs this year. With the squad that we've got, I don't think there's a stronger squad probably in Europe at present, if we're being frankly honest.
Yeah, no, it's what we've said for years now. Strength and depth, build up your squad, and go from there. But yeah, I agree with Andy. I think 2 trophies are definitely there for the taking. I mean, obviously you need to be a bit lucky with your cup draws, but there's no reason why we. Yeah, I mean, I think we'll win the league. I do. Yeah, the Carabao Cup's an interesting one. I had this conversation with Kobe and Carl the other week, and they were like, "Oh, I'm not so worried about the Carabao Cup," and I was like, "Oh, no. Win the first trophy, and then
Absolutely.
crack on. You know, get the
Yeah.
players get a taste of it. I think, yeah, here we go. We win the League Cup. You're one step towards the quadruple. You never know. I mean, got throw out there. But yeah, I mean, win the first one and win as much as you can. It's silly, but yeah, I mean, Brighton will be tough. Don't get me wrong; they're a good side, but they only drew Wolves yesterday, so it'll be interesting to see how strong he goes in that game as well. By the way, because obviously all the games are going to be coming up quick and fast. But yeah, that's definitely they win that one, and then like I said, Cup. Yeah, but I don't fear anybody. I mean, obviously you don't really want City's or your Liverpool away, but there's definitely trophies to be had this year. The worrying thing is everyone keeps going, "Oh, Arsenal got the strongest squad. Oh, Arsenal have got to do this. Arsenal got to win this." They're all trying to put the pressure on because they're all worried because they know that we really could crack on.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it, that John says that, Andy, because actually this is where our problem's been the last 2 years, where the squad hasn't been there. I just want to add, I don't think Pep Guardiola and Jose Mourinho are turning their nose up at the League Cup. I think Pep Guardiola won it 4 years in a row. So that tells you his relentlessness to winning every trophy that gets put his way. And I think that's the kind of attitude that we need to bed and the culture we need to bed. Yeah, of course, we'd rather win we want to win the Premier League and Champions League as a priority, but you want to win every trophy you're in. You want to not lose games, whatever trophy you're in. And I, for one, have not seen us win the League Cup since 1993.
No.
Do you know what I mean? I've been quite fortunate. I've seen us win it twice, to be honest. Obviously 86, 93, but a lot of our fan base have never seen us win the League Cup. And yeah, it's not the best of trophies, but it's a start. And like John said, it brings a taste, don't it, Andy, into the team. Actually, I want more of this.
Yeah, absolutely. And is that right, by the way? 1993 is the last time we won a League Cup.
Yeah, Sheffield Wednesday 2-1.
Tony Adams
dropped Steve Murray on the floor.
That was the year when George Graham sat me down and said, "You shit. You need to move on, sunshine."
That's why we won it.
The year I left. I can't believe that I left.
It could have been you that Tony Adams dropped on the floor, Andy.
Exactly.
Could have been you scored the winner, mate.
Could have been me. But I can't believe that. That's mad to think that I was there at the club when that was the last one. But but it's going back to what you said, Liam, as well. It's when I watch them League Cups and Guardiola wins 4 in a row. They can talk all they want about, oh, it's only the League Cup. But when I watch them semi-finals and I watch them finals, and the crowd, the grounds are full, the crowd are at it. You forget the fact that it's the League Cup. It's another competition where you want to get to the end. You want to get the supporters involved, get them what it feels like for these big occasions all the time. And that's what City have done. City did that over the years. It just became every year. If they didn't win the league, they win the League Cup, or they win the FA Cup, they'll win Champions League. They'll win something. And I think that's the culture that we're going to try and create. And we have to get started at some point. And if it is the League Cup, then so be it. Let that be the starting point. That's only in February when that final is.
And the pressure released as well if we do win it. I mean, obviously there's still be loads of pressure. Don't get me wrong, but all the players are like, well, we've won a trophy now. It won't be so tense. You know what I mean? They're like, it can push confidence levels will go up, but there won't be so much pressure on. Oh, you've got to win a trophy. You've got to win a trophy. They've already done it in February.
Yeah, absolutely. And just think of the momentum that can gather for you. The whole squad.
Definitely
the players that get on the pitch and lift that trophy up, they're going to be buzzing. The ones that didn't get on or they're on the periphery, going to look at it thinking, "I want that," and that'll make me try even harder, which can only be better for us in the long term across the board because everyone's pushing each other to their limits to get to where we need to be. And we've just got it. It's all well and good saying we've got this winning mentality, but until we actually win something and then win something consistently, can we then be called by these are a top side now? We know we're very good. Everybody knows that we're very, very good at the moment, like really good. And I think it's only going to get better. I think it's worth considering, by the way, that Liverpool aren't going to continue being as poor as what they are. They can't. With that many quality players, at some point, it has to start to click.
Yeah, they're going to
But
get
by
some
that point,
hidings in.
by that point, I'd like to think that maybe we're out of sight of them. You know, there's no reason why that can't happen, especially with our run of fixtures coming up. There's no reason why we can't gain some momentum, put some points on the board, and put some daylight between us and other teams, and start to move other teams, like drop them off it, and just keep rotating with our squad. We've got to need a bit of luck with injuries because we're still not quite there. We still keep getting knocks, and poor Martin Odegaard, my God, he can't catch a break at the moment, but that's just the way it goes in football sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. Good evenings, G. Brownie point for you. Liam's got some lights in the bar. He's definitely got something in there. He's also got a little parrot. I just want to remind everyone the parrot's up there as well. I got it. I thought I've got to get one, so I bought it yesterday. Honestly, on Amazon, I think it's about £2.80, and I got it, and I put it up against the TV last night for a joke. I went to bed and left it there. Bobby wanted it this morning, didn't he? So I've got to order him one now.
Well, he looks really nice and red in your lovely round light there, Liam.
Yeah, I think
he goes with your Eze top.
How much longer I'll get away with being out here, though, I don't know. But we're still out here at the moment. Yeah, no, I think some good points raised there, and I think we do need to kind of get that trophy kind of out the way, because I think it just takes a little bit of pressure off, and it's the noise, isn't it, around it. A lot of people like to remind us every single day of the week.
Shuts people up.
One of the interesting things, though, coming out of the weekend, I was listening to a few pundits. Jamie Redknapp was one of them. Pretty much said that he think at the moment, looking at the start of it, Arsenal are favourites. I don't think he was actually really trying to put the pressure on with that one, to be fair. I think he actually said it in terms of how he felt a bit at the moment. Can I go to you first, John? Do you see Arsenal's favourites at the moment?
Yes, I think so. I mean, Liverpool were the favourites at the start, and they've heavily invested. But there's something not quite right there, which seems bizarre to say. Obviously, they won the league. I mean, you can, not blame it, but obviously, Diego Jota, it will have an effect on some of the players. Obviously, they can't keep using that as an excuse, but it will have. Let's be honest. One of their mates has died, so it's going to be hard for a lot of people to, cope with, which I do get. But then, obviously, they've signed a lot more wingers and attackers, and they haven't gelled whatsoever. Wirtz has done nothing. Isak hasn't done anything. Salah, I've said this for weeks now, hasn't been dreadful all season. He doesn't look the same player. It's almost as if he's got his new contract, and I don't know. So, it will be interesting to see how they react. As Andy said, they will come back. I mean, they've got too many good players not to. Man City, I mean, they beat Brentford 1-0 yesterday. I didn't think much of them. It's just, if we don't get any more injuries, that's the thing. We've been so unlucky. I mean, is it unlucky? I presume it is. I mean, but the way, if we can keep it more or less everyone fit and right, and the way we're going, the Fulham away game is going to be key for me, as much as the West Ham home game, because we haven't done well against them recently. Fulham away has been a real sticky patch for us. We've either lost or drawn there the last few years. If we beat them, I will be quite highly convinced that we're going to do it. Because this year, some of the games like Newcastle away, Man United away, we're picking up the wins that we didn't do last year. So we can keep doing that. I think we're the team to beat. I mean, defensively, we're just incredible. That back five is the best in Europe, comfortably, I think. I don't think there's anywhere else out to beat it. And there's loads of people who have said you win, was it great title wins are built on great defences or something. And we're always going to score a goal because we've got so many attacking players, but that defence is worth a couple of goal head start. So, I think so.
Yeah, I think like you said, defence is obviously world class at the moment. 3 goals in 7 games we conceded in the Premier League, Andy, against Liverpool, 1 to goal.
And one of them is a worldie, yeah.
Where Man City, Haaland, and you look at the Newcastle go, okay, that was a bit of a weak goal in my opinion. Because could have been managed a little bit better. But, this is the thing, isn't it? In seasons gone by, you look at the team who's at the top of the league, you look at the goal difference. I always look at the goal difference. And I'm looking at the goal difference with us being top of the league as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think Man City have scored one more goal than us. But apart from that, we're like the second most in goals scored. But then you look at the goals conceded, we're the best team out there. And this is the difference, isn't it? This is the difference. If we continue in that vein and shut out teams and score goals, and that goal difference is obviously improved on, I think personally this year, with everything going on at Liverpool, I think the Jota thing will have a bit of a situation, but I think it'll be in games they lose. I think it'll affect them even more. I think that you're seeing now when they're losing games, it is affects them more in terms of what's happening. It's not nice, but obviously this is professional football we're talking about. This is the time for Arsenal to pounce, isn't it? Like, they've got the squad, they've got the defence, they've got the attack. This is the time, isn't it? This is the time to put the statement down over the next 2 months for me. Like, you look at the run of fixtures coming up after the international break. Fulham away, Crystal Palace at home. Do you know what I mean? You're looking at fixtures and you're thinking, okay, these should be free. If we're going to win the league, we need to be beating Fulham away. Crystal Palace have proven a tricky customer over the last few months. Won a couple of trophies, but they were beaten yesterday. How would that affect them? Do you know what I mean? We'll have a bit of a downfall now because of that. This is a time, isn't it? Over this next 3 to 6 games, I look at our fixtures and I think, actually, we could go and win all 6. And I think if we did go and win all 6, I think you'll see a comfortable lead open up at the top. Not saying like really comfortable, but potentially 4 or 5 points.
Yeah, I think that's without a shadow of a doubt the position that we hope we're going to be in. If we look at our fixtures, yeah, it's all well and good us sitting going, oh, it's Fulham, so we should win that. But it is about actually going out there and getting the points. But I think it's probably worth pointing out as well that, you know, we've all said about how poor Liverpool have been this season, and they've got these new players coming in, lots of money being spent, like crazy money being spent, losing Jota in the summer. So the club's in a bit of a strange situation at the moment. But I think it's also worth not forgetting, after 7 games, they're only a point behind us. Yeah. So as poor as it's been from a Liverpool perspective, they're still sat second and they're a point off the top. So we need to remember that the players that they've got there are that good that at some point that it will click. It will happen. Wirtz is an absolutely phenomenal footballer. It's just not working for him at the moment over there. But I can't believe for a minute it can continue. And I think that's where it's important, looking at our next 6 games, to look at that and go, do you know what? Yeah, there's 18 points. We want 18 points there.
Yeah, I'm interested. I'm just looking at it now. Like, we play, as I said, we play Fulham. And then obviously, I'm not going to include the cup games. Then we go Crystal Palace, but Burnley away, Sunderland away, Tottenham at home. You look at them games, and then Chelsea away is probably the big one at the end of November. Actually, that Chelsea game could be a bit of a statement game, because obviously if we went there and won there as well, like we did with Newcastle, and back that up, I think that would put a lot of confidence in the team as well. Because I don't think Chelsea are anywhere near where they need to be to put a title challenge in. But as we see Saturday, didn't we? They can upset the apple cart. But I just think Liverpool were kind of exposed, weren't they, down their right hand side, especially in the second half. And I think Chelsea kind of capitalised on that. But you look at them 6, and you're thinking, do you know what? If we could win 5 out of 6 and get a draw, or 6 out of 6, like that, you'd like to think that actually we could open up a little bit of a lead. And I just remember going back to the 2022-2023 season when we went into the World Cup break, and there was such a momentum, weren't there? Because we was winning games and we was really confident. And then I felt that actually that World Cup kind of killed us a little bit, because actually it killed our momentum. So when we did come back, it was like a new team. Jesus was injured. We lost our kind of striker at the time. But I look at this and I could see a bit of familiarity in terms of, actually, if we can get ourselves on a run, it could be like 2022-23 again, where we can give ourselves a healthy lead. And that's what we need to do. Do you know what I mean? Because I think We need. I listened to an interesting thing, and whereas I didn't agree with everything Joe Cole said, it is true that when we get to March or April, as fans, we get nervous, and of course we get nervous because actually we've seen it time and time again. All these false dawns. Do you know what I mean? But we need to get ourselves into a situation where actually we're in a good, comfortable position. We've got the squad now. We need to build a lead. We need to build a lead like Liverpool did last year, because it's very easy, like being Liverpool when like last year they were literally just winning games after winning games. But that was because there was no pressure on them. Do you know, it was zero pressure whatsoever. If we're being totally honest here, I think Liverpool benefited because actually Arsenal were out the title race by February. Man City were never in it, and everyone else, Liverpool were literally about 8-10 points clear. So there was no pressure on them. And that's where we need to get ourselves this season. We need to do exactly the same thing, because I don't think Liverpool, if they're chasing this season, I don't think that squad's right. I think the manager, I rate Slot. You got to rate Slot. He went and won the Premier League, but let's be honest, it is a little bit of Klopp's team. He's now embedded his own team, but I'm seeing some gaps in his interviews now. Like pre-match interviews and post-match interviews, and I'm not sure he's saying the right things at the moment, and I'm wondering if that then affects the team as well. Do you know what I mean? I just think put the pressure on them. Winning games is going to put so much pressure on them. In my eyes, Liverpool are the team this year. I think Man City is still short. If they lost Haaland, I don't see where they'll put Mount a title challenge. But I just think, do you know what I mean? This Liverpool team this year, this is the time. This is the time over the next 2 months to build a lead and get ourselves to a healthy position. And I don't think this Liverpool team will have the capability like they did last year to back up what they did last year, chasing. That's my personal opinion. Not sure what you think, John.
No, I do agree, especially the Man City. Yeah, if Haaland ever gets injured, they are absolutely screwed, because he's a phenomenal beast. And let's be honest, and Man City aren't the team they were. You know, yeah, they've lost that edge and the fear factor. Obviously, they'll keep going and they'll be up there, but I just think we have finally gone to that next level. And yeah, to see who can live with us. You know, I think the good thing is this season you've got about 7 or 8 sides that are pretty capable of beating everybody. You know, Liverpool, your Man Cities, your Chelseas, your Newcastles, possibly your Spurs, your Bournemouth, your Palaces, Newcastle, probably maybe Villa, even Everton in the day. You know, I think this league is a lot stronger this year. Look at the teams that have come up. You know, Sunderland, what they're doing. You know, even Leeds and Burnley are doing so bad. So I think the level of the Premier League is a lot harder now. So if we can just keep chipping out the wins and rely, you know, everyone keeps beating everyone else, like Liverpool last year, where that happened, we kept dropping points and they kept winning. Yeah, like I said, this run of games coming up, if we can get like 6 wins, and yeah, it could be very good.
I'll tell you what I would love as well, Andy. Yeah, right, we did get ourselves ahead, and we've got to do it first and back it up. But putting Liverpool on a 4:30 game after we played, do you know what I mean? Because there's nothing worse, is there, than watching Arsenal win, or not even saying Arsenal, but watching the leaders play a game, win the game, and then actually you've got to go back up at 4:30 on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, Scott, it's the worst thing ever. You know, it's a great 4:30 afternoon kickoff when the team you chase and gets beat earlier in the day. But that added pressure comes when they get the result, and then you're down to get. You know, the pressure is on you to go and get yours. But it's all about capitalising and creating momentum. But for me, this international break's come at the worst time possible, because just as we're starting to build a bit of momentum, and Liverpool seem to be in a little bit of turmoil, now's the time when we could be creating a gap. Now that they've got 2 more weeks now to kind of, I know a lot of the players go out on international duty, but they've got a couple of weeks now to regroup, regather. Whereas I'd rather the fixtures stayed twice a week almost for the next few weeks while they are in the shit a little bit, and while we're on the crest of a wave, and just to try and create that gap. So for me, the international break is an absolute pain in the arse.
Always is. And we've got another one next month.
Yeah, I know.
Next month again.
Do you know? I was saying to my dad the other day, like I whinge like mad when it's the international break. I
So
absolutely,
boring.
honestly, I can't
It's so
stand
boring.
it. But come the Euros or come the World Cup, I'm kind of all over it then. But ultimately, it's about Arsenal for us. That's our team. That's where our passion lies. It's our club. So this international break is just an absolute bloody nuisance. And if I see Saka and Rice playing the full games, especially Rice on the back of this back injury, I'd have much preferred to read about him pulling out of the squad. I'll be honest.
That midfield he's
bothered
picked,
about a game against.
and there's no way he's not playing. I mean, bizarrely, Adam Walton is not getting in the squad. I do not understand it at all.
Got no idea.
I mean,
what
even
a player
the
that
Jude
kid
Bellingham thing, I
Yeah.
don't understand at all. I do. No. Yeah, I just don't get it. I do worry a little bit now. I was, massive fan of Southgate. I know damn well. And Tuchel was like, okay, he'll be good, but I really don't know, to be honest.
I think it'll be an interesting one. Come the back end of April, May, to see who is actually getting picked at that point. Do you know what I mean? But just looking at it, like obviously at the moment, like I'm pretty much in the camp that when I hear people go, "Oh, well, the performance weren't now," I'm not really worried about the performance. Do you know why? Because all these international breaks, like you said, they come at the wrong time. I think up to November, it's all about just grinding out the results. Like you're embedding a new team with new players. You're fighting having to play the international breaks as well. That always come at a time when either you are in form or you're not in form. So for me, it's about getting to the November break, just winning games. I'm not really worried about the performances as such, as long as we're winning games. That for me will be once the November international break has gone and we've got nothing till March, that actually I then would want to see the performances starting picking up and then starting seeing a lot more kind of blossoming kind of relationships within the team. Because I think at the moment, especially with our team with the injuries we've had, he has still had to pick a lot of different players to start games for Arsenal Football Club at the moment. He has had to do that. Like Saka was out, so Madaraki was in. Odegaard's been in and out. Waneri's come in for games. Do you know what I mean? Like Submendi's been pretty much a linchpin. Declan Rice will always play when fit. Saliba's been out injured, but Mosquera coming and done an admirable job. But it's not like that Arteta's picked the same 11 each week. And I just think that actually, if we can get out that November international break and still be top of the league, and do you know what I mean, and still winning games, that's when actually, do you know what, you might have your Kai Havertz is on the verge coming back. Hikapi, he's got to come into the team at some point. You're looking at hopefully Odegaard will be hopefully, I don't know what the situation is, but you're hoping best case scenario maybe December, that he potentially comes back into it. The squad's there. I'm not worried about the performances. It's about getting the results at the moment. Just get the results in. Get to the international break of November, top of the Premier League, and then we go again after. Because when you start looking at the games into November, after Sunderland, there's some biggies, mate. Like under Derby, get much bigger. Chelsea away a week later. And then we didn't win last year, so there's another game that we'll need to pick up and make the wrongs right.
Yeah.
Aston Villa away. Well, Unai Emery, we know all about December. I think that period of 4 games will be a good understanding that actually after that point of them 4 games, where are Arsenal Football Club?
Yeah.
And Bayern Munich in the Champions League.
Well, that's in between and Chelsea games. So that week's a massive week.
Yeah.
It's all good having these games, but 3 games a week and you end up at Stamford Bridge. That's going to be a true test of character that week, isn't it, Andy?
Yeah, it's going to be massive. But don't forget, they're looking at the fixtures and they can see that we're coming to town and they don't fancy it. So we forget that sometimes. We can look at fixtures and we think, oh, God, we've got Chelsea away. That's going to be a tough fixture. Chelsea is looking at that fixture, worried like mad because we're coming to town. We're at a point now when Arsenal turn up at any venue, nobody really wants to play us anymore. We're horrible to play against. That's why we don't concede many goals. What's been interesting is that the fact that he has used different players, even through this kind of first stage of the season, but every single player that plays for us knows their role. They know how we, especially defensively, we just set up into a unit. and it's phenomenal. And I think we're also seeing, as much as like we can say Liverpool are only a point behind us, and after 7 games, we're a point ahead of Liverpool, looking at it positively. And we haven't played at the best of our ability yet either. The good thing is we seem to be getting better each game every time we go. But then every time we get going, we lose it. We get an injury. But we're building our own momentum at the moment. And I'm sure people in the game will be looking at us and looking at where we are in relation to, looking at the points that we got on the table, and also knowing that with the squad that we have, there's so much more to come as well, and we can start to see now that there's bits of football coming through which are just incredible, and hopefully we're going to see that and just keep growing as the season goes, because we need to continue growing right now while Liverpool are in turmoil. We need to establish that lead, because they will get better.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think, to be fair, both Liverpool and Arsenal haven't had the easiest starts between them both. Do you know what I mean? So I do think we need to be a bit mindful that actually, like when you look at Liverpool's last few fixtures, Palace and Chelsea away, to be honest, they'll be kind of games that we will have to face at some point. So it's about doing better than obviously what they've done.
I tell you what, Liam, though, just on that, when you come back after the international break, it's Liverpool.
That's right, on the Sunday after us.
Do you know what? There's a massive chance that Man U might go there and upset them, especially right now. Man U managed to win a fixture. It is a massive game for them to play against Liverpool. So who knows? There could be a slip up coming in there. And if we can get them 3 points at Fulham, again, that just keeps that gap, and it builds a gap. And then we go from there. So we can look at our fixtures and go like, we should be winning this, and it's going to be tough there. Liverpool are looking at every fixture at the moment because they need to start to gather momentum. They need to improve, and at the moment they're not showing signs of doing that. So we need to capitalise.
Well, here's Liverpool's fixtures over the next month. Liverpool got, as you said, Manchester United on that Super Sunday at 4:30. Then they go away to Brentford, which I can only guess is a Saturday night game, 8 o'clock.
Yeah, it's 8 o'clock.
Liverpool, Aston Villa, November the 1st. Man City, Liverpool, the 9th of November. Okay. Nottingham Forest, which obviously they're not in form. Let's hope Big Ange's out by then. 22nd, and then West Ham away, Sunderland. So their fixture list doesn't look too bad, but I tell you, there's some big crunch games there already. Like they got Tottenham away as well in December. So you look at the Tottenham, the Man City, and maybe even the Brentford game, and you think actually it's going to be the away games, isn't it? That I think actually Liverpool will come a cropper. And will they go to these grounds and win? So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens over the next couple of months with Arsenal and Liverpool, and how that kind of proceeds. But obviously at this moment in time we are a point ahead after the second international break. I don't think we can crumble, if I'm being totally honest. Don't get me wrong. I did expect a little bit more at Liverpool. I certainly didn't. I thought we could beat Man City, and that was a bit of a disappointing one for me. But if you said to me that actually we'll only take 1 point out of Man City and Liverpool and sit on top of the league going into the October international break, I think I'd have snapped your hand off at that one.
Definitely.
Yeah, you'd be a fool not to. Yeah, if you'd have told me this was going to be our situation at the start of the season, I'd have snapped your hands off. So we've got ourselves into this position now. It's the best position to be in is when you're at the front and people are chasing you. And I know it's only early days, but I really think there's a massive opportunity for us to march forward now and start to steamroller teams like what the Liverpools and Man Cities did in the past, and what we've done in the past over the last few years. We should be going into fixtures now with completely no fear, and go and start kind of really rolling over teams and really making a statement. And as I said to you, like before, we're bloody horrible to play against. The defensive setup that we have is just unbelievable. There was a question the other day put to Luis Enrique at PSG, and asked him about who was the most difficult team you played last season, and he said Arsenal. So that just goes to show you we didn't even get to the final. We didn't even win it. They won the final, but we were the hardest team that they played against. And if you think back to them fixtures, Donnarumma was the difference. And now, but now, kind of 4 or 5 months on, we've got this squad that is the envy of Europe. It's now up to us to go forward and go and beat all these teams. And even in Europe, nobody wants to play us at the moment. Nobody wants to play Arsenal. It's one of them fixtures you look at with dread. You're like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
This is going to be a tough night. So, and that's testament to what the players have done so far and the staff over there.
Just quickly, Andy, do you see it being a 2-horse race this year, or do you see Man City being involved?
I think Man City will be involved, but personally, I still think it'll be 2-horse race. I just think that as much as Man City have signed some pretty decent footballers, as John said earlier, God forbid they ever get an injury to Haaland. God knows where they're going to go with that. But there's just I don't know what it is about City. It's difficult to put your finger on because you don't watch them every week. But there's just something not there that was there for all them years when they were better than everybody. The fear factor's gone, I think, at City now. People go there and fancy the chances.
Kevin De Bruyne.
Kevin De Bruyne is going to be a huge loss. But I think in some respects, with Liverpool being in this little bit of turmoil, they've lost that fear factor now as well. So they got through some of the earlier games this season with really late goals, and sometimes that's teams just like kind of sitting back and just hoping to get to the final whistle. And when you're in that position, when you're just hoping to get over the line, that's when you start to concede. And that, Liverpool have had a few late goals going on this season and stuff. But,
I think the Liverpool hierarchy knew that obviously it was an aging team, wasn't it? I think they realised that actually we might have just got the very best out of this team last year. Because let's be totally honest, like Liverpool kept up with Man City all them years, didn't they? We've had a superb squad, and obviously hit 98 points, didn't win the league, and that says it all. But I think they did know that actually, I think we got the very best, but it's very different trying to embed 5 or 6 players. And I think the Jota thing's kind of really, really hurt them as well, because actually I don't think no one really wants to go and buy 2 top strikers in one window, do they? Like, let's be honest, no one really wants to do it, because actually you're going to piss off someone. In my opinion, you're going to piss off someone, which is probably going to be Ekitike. Because I think he's at will start games. I think he has to. They pay 130 million for him. Had they not start him when they paid that much money? But I think the amount of players that they brought in there, like you said, Andy, like they will come good to most of them players. But it's a lot to expect them to go in there and carry on what happened last year, isn't it?
Yeah, there's massive question marks over Slot now about how we can manage this situation, because coming in and inheriting for the most part a Klopp team and then going on and winning the league was phenomenal. But as you quite rightly mentioned, he's getting a bit spiky in interviews now. So that just goes to show that Liverpool's not anywhere near in that position that they were at this point last season. So they're in a bit of turmoil now. And then you've got a manager there who's got 2 high profile centre forwards who would probably walk into most teams in Europe, and he's got to try and manage that now, as well as the other players that are there. He's got he's got to try and bring Wirtz into their system. So they've got a lot going on at Liverpool. Liam, I bow down you because you stifled about 3 yawns. 3 yawns, honestly. I think it's that bloody new light of yours.
Mate, he's in my eye. I'll tell you that one.
I seen John stifled a yawn earlier. I think, am I just boring the arse off everybody here?
I'm ready. I'm ready. No, I'm ready. It's not you.
Shut up. When I start to waffle,
mate, that's what you call. That's what.
Tell us to shut up.
That's having childcare all weekend, mate. Well, that's what it does to you, mate.
Oh well, my children are a little bit older than yours, so them childcare.
Oh, mate, it's dreadful. But apologies. You're not boring me, honestly.
Oh yeah.
Nah, but you are right. You are right. I think Slot is under a lot of pressure. With obviously the new squad, I think it is very tough for him to kind of.
He wasn't a flash in the pan last year. He's got to prove it last year, wasn't he?
Yeah, and let's be honest, there's still going to be murmurs, and there is murmurs in there. Well, it was Jurgen Klopp's team. Do you know what I mean?
And he's spent all this money now. I mean, like £400 million. I mean, it's not 50 million in one player. He's smashed the transfer window like twice.
Yeah, I think if this was our Liverpool podcast, we'll be up in arms at the moment because the balance of the team's all over the place. Their left back, for me, is not nowhere near as good as Andy Robertson, and I know Robertson's older now, but I'd have him in front of Kirk.
Those 2 fullbacks,
and I just think they've got a few. They've almost spent that money and thought, we've got to play these players because we spent loads on these, and it's just not working. And
absolutely,
it's fucking brilliant.
I think that Liverpool Man United game has come at an interesting time because it would either go one way or the other for Liverpool, won't it? It would either come at the perfect time for them to have a big old rivalry game at Anfield, or if it doesn't go their way, then the pressure comes on even more, doesn't it? If they don't win that game, and to be fair, United got 2 draws out of there over the last 2 years. It's not like United have gone there and been rolled over as such. I know 3 years ago it was 7-0 or something like that, weren't it?
Yeah.
But it is. I mean, ultimately in the Northwest, that's a massive fixture. It's always one that we look for, isn't it? At the start of the season, you always look for Arsenal, Tottenham, Liverpool, Man United. So they're the big games, and it wouldn't surprise me if United go there after this international break and upset the apple cart a little bit.
Just the other thing as well, I mentioned on the goal difference. That's as good as another point, isn't it? And that would be a massive thing, won't it, this season?
Yeah, huge. And they're the fine lines where, you think of them seasons in the past when we missed out just really closely. You go through the season, you think, if we hadn't just drawn that game there, or what. But we're now in a position where, like West Ham, for instance, last season that would have been a draw. We'd have drew the game, or even got beat, like you said, Liam. We'd lost twice to them in the last couple of seasons. But there's teams out there that we've threw away points with. Fulham's another one. We've drawn at Fulham and lost momentum in the league in the past. But we've got to go there and win it, and that's we're not telling Arteta to do anything that he doesn't know already. But the next most important game is Fulham, and that's what they're going to be geared up for. And just hoping and praying that the international break passes by with no further injuries for us. Could you imagine coming back from the international break and Declan Rice has done his ACL against Wales?
Don't say that out loud.
They're the fine lines in football, though. That it just takes that one innocuous challenge, one accidental challenge, and it can upset things. But ultimately, that's why going back to. I know we keep repeating ourselves, but that's why the squad's there. That's why Norgard was brought in. That's why we've got all of these players that can adapt and move into different positions. So, yeah,
I think it'd be good to get out the break, get playing football again, and get a few more wins under our belt. That's what would be really good. That's pretty much it for today, chaps. Obviously, no football fixtures to kind of predict this weekend, so don't need to use your final mental scope for that whatsoever.
I don't even know who England are playing. Is that wrong?
No, nor do I, mate. Nor do I.
I couldn't tell you.
Hey, we're playing Wales on Thursday.
Who?
What, in a qualifier?
No, it's just a friendly, isn't it?
Is it Thursday? Is it?
That's just crap.
Oh.
It's not a qualifier, is it?
Let's have a look.
Oh, is it one of them UEFA League
I
things?
haven't got a clue, mate. Honestly, I have no idea.
Isn't that bad?
Yeah.
Here we are. We're 3 days away from our international football team playing, and none of us actually know what the fixtures are.
No Arsenal players play, but I know they will.
That shows where the football is at the moment.
Hacked down by some Welsh dickhead.
He's right, mate.
Yeah, exactly.
You're right. England versus Wales. And none of
Was
us
it?
even know that.
And it's a friendly.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then there's a game on Tuesday against some Azerbaijan.
Latvia away.
Right.
Nearly.
That's not where I want
Declan
Rice to be going on
No,
Tuesday night.
definitely not. No,
That is definitely not where
What's
I
the
want
point of playing Wales in a friendly? Well,
Well, do you know what, John? You're absolutely right, because for the Welsh,
it's a cup final. Yeah?
This is like it's like a World Cup final.
They have a great time. Look at the shit.
And we have lads going out there playing. For like Declan Rice and for Bukayo Saka and for anybody else that plays, it's not that for us. It's an international fixture, which is important. But to Wales, it's their World Cup final, and that's where you can get these stupid little challenges come flying in, and
they'll be trying too hard.
So,
No, I totally agree. Fingers crossed that everyone comes back in one piece and we go again next week. Thank you very much, chaps, for coming on this evening once again. Good to listen to both your views. Obviously, thank you to everyone in the chat. Obviously, always appreciated. Obviously, your support, but also your comments. Everything was kind of seen, and we tried to discuss for as much as we can. But yeah, obviously, we will be back next week. We'll do a preview of the Fulham game. Probably won't be a long show, to be fair, with it, because obviously, but we will look ahead to the Champions League game the Tuesday after. I think it's Tuesday. Atletico Madrid. So massive game there as well. Simone's coming into town, so that'd be a good one to kind of discuss as well. So we will be back next Monday at 8:30 with Andy and John again. But until then, have a good international break. Try not to watch too much football, and we'll see you again next week. Good night.
No.
All right. Take care, guys.